Tonight on Fox, 1 month into construction on Monroe Street, we're taking a look at how it's affecting businesses. But first, inmates in the Rock County Jail are helping dogs find loving homes. The special story of their newest resident. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the 1 hour Fox 47 News. I'm Leah Linscheid. The Rock County Jail has a new treatment option for inmates. It's furry and it barks. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Middaugh explains how Apollo is helping the inmates while getting some help himself.
Good boy.
At 9.
The jail staff also love being around Apollo. In fact, one of the deputies has expressed interest in taking him home once he's been cleared for adoption. All right, to weather now. Let's turn it over to Gary Canalti with the first Foxcast. Gary, still drizzling out there?
It's just a rain here, but later on.
All right, thanks, Gary. And a heads up for anyone living near the Rock River, the National Weather Service has a river flood warning out tonight. It's forecasted to reach minor flooding levels by tomorrow and rise through Tuesday. Rock County residents can pick up free sandbags at the locations listed right there on your screen. In Walworth County, more than a dozen people are facing drug charges after a 6-month-long investigation. Authorities executed 6 search warrants at 5 different houses and the Vegas Gentlemen's Club, finding cocaine, marijuana, ecstasy, and more. In all, 16 people from Delavan and the surrounding communities are facing drug distribution charges. In Milwaukee, a 60-year-old woman faces 3 counts of second-degree murder after admitting to murdering 3 babies, including her own son, in the early 1980s. All their deaths were initially ruled as sudden infant death syndrome, but that case was recently reopened.
When I was suspicious about something, being the officer in charge, I had to go through with, my whole investigation.
That's retired Fire Lieutenant John Kuster of the Milwaukee Fire Department. He was at the scene of 2 of those murders back in 1984 and 85. Nancy Moronez confessed that she drowned her own 18-day-old son in 1980 in Franklin. Then, 4 years later, she suffocated a 6-month-old in Milwaukee. A year after that, she suffocated another infant in that same home. She was babysitting those children and told investigators she, quote, can't take kids that constantly cry. Moronez will face 60 years in prison. New information tonight in a crash involving a salt truck and a Dane County deputy. Officers were on the scene of a crash around 10 last night along the Beltline near Cottage Grove and had closed lanes of traffic there. That's when a man allegedly drove through those closed lanes, stopped his car, and then sped off when a deputy tried to talk to him, nearly hitting the officer in the process. He then crashed head-on into a nearby salt truck. The driver, 24-year-old Andrew Lloyd, was taken to the hospital and then was later arrested. He faces a second offense OWI charge, among others. In Columbus, 1 person is dead in a head-on crash there on Highway 16 this morning. It happened just before 3 a.m., shutting down the road for more than 3 hours. Columbia County deputies say a 55-year-old was driving the wrong way down 16 when he hit another car head-on. He died at the scene. The other driver is in the hospital tonight, but is expected to be okay. Officers say alcohol was likely a factor in that crash. And this man facing charges tonight connected to a fire at a Janesville group home this week. 18-year-old Elijah Dvorak allegedly set the fire after he got upset. He left the home before officers arrived. Authorities say he admitted to the crime. He's being held on a previous court-ordered commitment. The Rock County DA is considering other charges against him. Back in Madison, workers are calling attention to their rights and demanding that politicians respect them with a rally at the Capitol today.
Union is power! That's right. Union is power! That's right.
Speakers at the event called for fair treatment, equal pay, and collective bargaining rights. They also highlighted an upcoming Supreme Court case that could affect more than 5 million government workers in 24 different states. The High Court will be asked to drop fair share fees. That covers the cost of grievance procedures to deal with workplace complaints. Today's rally in Madison is one of several across the country this weekend in response to that court case. Meanwhile, Speaker Paul Ryan is back in Wisconsin speaking at the County Springs Hotel in Pewaukee. It's for the annual Lincoln Reagan dinner put on by the Republican Party of Waukesha County. Other attendees include Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish and Attorney General Brad Schimmel. Back in Madison, one of the city's busiest streets is undergoing a major renovation. Crews will replace old utility lines, repave the blacktop, and improve walkways on Monroe Street. But as our Brittany Paris reports, the businesses along that road are still trying to get by.
Is at 9.
Now, that full reconstruction of Monroe Street will stretch from Leonard to Regent. The project is expected to cost more than $20 million and will take about 10 months to complete. Well, still ahead tonight on the news at 9, a historic win for the U.S. Olympic curling team with the Wisconsin athlete leading the way. What it means for the sport back here in Madison. Plus, a little later, students in the Florida shooting will return to their school for counseling this week. We'll have the latest from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High.